Let's see here. Jeez. I had to get an itchy eye like right when the stream started, right? So, whew. All right. All right, we're live, pal. Once again, baby. So, hey, Andy here, and just trying out a new setup. I just have the webcam up on my tripod instead of on top of my monitor. I just wanted to try a different setup, especially so it's not blown out from the back, too much light coming in, and yeah, so just trying out something new. So I guess we'll go ahead and get everything all going here, right? So I'm not used to this particular setup. Anyway, oh yeah, Jesus. ADD is killing me today. Let me tell you what. So we'll go to Zenbuster height, and this time is there a? I made something. Okay, 10 hours. But this time we're gonna lower it because I listened to this. Oh Jesus, that's way too fucking loud. Okay. Yeah, I listened to the stream the previous stream. Jesus, I can words. And it was like way too freaking loud. And my mic was really low. So the reason behind that was before I made that stream, I had my Zoom mic hooked in, so I still had the same settings as that one. So because I was peaking too hard with that mic, I had to turn the gain down, and that's why you could barely hear me on this one, where I have to like crank it up because it's just onboard audio for the webcam. So it kind of is what it is. But Jesus, I'm looking extremely pale. Let me change that here real quick. And that looks too dark. Yeah, that's the problem with trying to make the stream look good from a webcam. It's like you either get two settings. You get like hella underexposed where it looks all dark and gross, or like, oh my god, get yourself a tan. White man, you is so white. No guys, I go out to the sun every morning. What are you talking about? Okay. Wow, that is... Jesus. Oh my god. How am I gonna... Okay, that one's not so bad. It's not perfect, but y'all just have to deal, I guess. So hopefully the audio, the Zenbuster music in the background isn't too loud. I adjusted the mic settings, so hopefully everything is good this time around. But we'll see. In any event, just looking at the monitor here, it looks like everything is going pretty well. Gotta say it looks a lot nicer, a lot more detail and all that stuff, and it's just the power of exposing things properly. Because like when I'm just sitting over there, well, you can't see it, but if I'm sitting over, where's my hand? Over there we go. Then everything's all blown out or whatever the case. It's just not that good. Plus, I think once I get a new camera, definitely want to get that, what they call like a cam link or whatever. You basically just hook like an HDMI thing and do it that way. There's got to be some way to configure that for a laptop. I know you can do it for desktops, but for laptops it might be a little harder. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I don't think I've ever done it for any of my cameras in the past, but that's kind of the general setup that a lot of pro streamers have. They don't use a webcam anymore. That's like so. It's like so 2012, I guess. Even though when old Colony Macaroni first hit, all the webcams sold out. So I guess they have seen a recent resurgence in popularity. But you know, so let's see here. Make sure. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, yep, really digging this new setup. So I might actually keep this for future streams if I can remember. Uh, the old head brain can get a little forgetful sometimes, especially at my advanced age. Ah, man. But yeah, you know, like, let's see what we got to talk about today. I just kind of came on, just to come on, as I always do with these live streams. I know people want me to like kind of take it seriously and like go to Twitch for like better growth and stuff like that. And who's to say that I won't go to Twitch? But I don't know. With Twitch, it's like you have to be like 100% dedicated to streaming, and you gotta like really take it seriously, or else you're gonna get like 2 views or whatever. Nobody's really gonna care. But with me, with streaming, it's just like a side thing, really. You know, it's just something I can do just to talk with you guys. You know, nothing too serious. But you know, if I really wanted to take it seriously, I'd probably put some shit in the background rather than just a plain ass wall, right? But man, when I get a new place, definitely want to. I don't know. I always feel weird about like wanting to decorate like my apartments, rooms, whatever, just because I know I'm not gonna stay there very long usually. So it's just like, why get invested, you know? But that's one of the things that I'm kind of yearning for as I get older. You know, I know this is like tangents upon tangents, but you know, it's kind of whatever. But I was on a Reddit thread, like an Ask Reddit, of what are some signs of adulthood that you didn't really think would be signs of adulthood, or kind of like signs you're getting older or whatever. And of course, you know, there's the ones of, you know, seeing, you know, your family die off and, you know, stuff like that. You getting pushed further and further as an older member in your family, so you have less people to look to for advice. That's something I've been dealing with a lot. Although, you know, I have been hanging out with an older crowd, so among them I'm the youngest. That's one of the reasons why I want to move down to the Shonan area, because it's mostly retirees that are living there most of the time. And then you get on-season people just kind of visiting, or day trippers from Tokyo just going down to surf or whatever. As far as the permanent population, most of them are older. I tend to gravitate towards the older folk. You know, they still got a lot of wisdom and helps me keep things in perspective. Because with me, you know, I didn't realize this about myself until I really started doing video editing, because that's when I found like my thing, I guess. But it's like I'm like kind of secretly a very competitive person, so I want to, like, you know, be the best at whatever it is I do. You know, and I think maybe in like another life or something like that, I'd probably be like a star athlete, you know, in my high school or whatever. Because I just have that sort of mentality, you know. Now, did I have it back then? Not really. And plus, my folks were really poor back then, so they couldn't really afford to get the gear or whatever. That was kind of the shitty part of my growing up. And it's not an indictment on my folks. Like, you know, they were doing the best they could with what they had. You know, raising 3 kids is no small feat, you know. Especially 3 kids with very different ages, you know. Like, my 2 brothers I'm the oldest, but my one brother is 5 years younger than me, and my other brother is 12 years younger than me. So, very different age brackets of things. But when I was coming up in school, my folks didn't really have a whole lot of money. and so I couldn't. I mean, I probably could have if I really pushed them, but I don't know. I just felt really guilty about asking them for stuff like that, you know, like, because I remember wanting to like join band when I was way younger, like in like elementary school, I think, yeah, like fifth, sixth grade, and they couldn't really afford to rent any of the instruments, or you know, we would go out for uniforms or trips or anything like that, because band can get really expensive. And I hung out with a lot of the band kids, you know, I got along with them, but I kind of felt like a groupie more than anything, because like I'm hanging out with the band kids, but I don't play anything. But we just kind of had like the same like sense of humor and personalities, so it worked. You know, I was like kind of an unofficial band kid. So that could have been like another alternate universe for me. I would have joined band and done something. I don't know. And I'm not saying this because, you know, I regret some of my life decisions or whatever. You know, like, I think ultimately everything that I've done or haven't done or succeeded at and failed at has led me to this point. So, for better or worse, I think I'm doing pretty good. And I actually had one of my friends message me yesterday saying how him and his wife were just like talking about how it's really cool that, you know, you're out there in Japan still and doing your thing, living your dream, and editing videos for a living and stuff like that. And I'm just like, yeah, you know, just because, you know, it really helps. And I'm not just saying that to kind of like, you know, push up my ego or whatever, like I'm something special. But it just kind of helps bring into perspective things, because like for me, I'm very goal oriented, and I'm always like looking forward to like the next thing, the next client, the next gig, you know, the next step in me doing what I do. But it's nice to kind of, you know, stop for a bit, kind of look back at the full picture of things and just kind of see how far I've come, you know. And you know, hearing that from him was kind of humbling in a way. You know, it's just like, oh shit, I have done a whole lot, haven't I? Even though there's times where it doesn't feel like it, you know, it just feels like I'm, you know, just kind of stuck in a room, just sitting on my ass all day editing videos, and I'm just like, my brain turns to mush in addition to everything else. But yeah, it's another reason why I want to move down to the beach, so I can work on that core. So, but yeah, you know, it's always good to kind of. Oh, sorry for the noise. And trash truck rushing through. And I got the window open because it's such a nice day. Like the light is coming down really nicely, keep my feet warm. And the weather's definitely getting way better, so definitely gonna be taking advantage of it for sure. Man, I am looking really white today. I have to like taper the exposure a little bit. Hopefully this isn't too dark. Oop, other way. Yeah. It's technically exposed correctly, but it just looks so dark. I don't know. Maybe I could up the brightness instead of the exposure, because the exposure is kind of, there we go. Yeah, that's not okay. There we go. Let's taper that down a bit. Okay, maybe up a little bit. No. And then kind of, that contrast looked like shit. Oh man. Sorry I'm being so picky today, guys. Oh, I see. There was a power line frequency flicker filter. Say that 3 times fast. Shit. Okay. All right. We're just gonna have to go close enough with this one, even though this side of my face is like all dark and shit. But whatever. Shogunai, my guy. So what the hell was I talking about? Jesus. Fucking ADD brain. I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of all over the place today. Oh, hey. Speaking of bottle redesigns, I posted on Instagram the bottle redesign for 7-Eleven's 2-liter water, and I forgot to grab one for breakfast, but I just got this little one from the vending machine, and they changed the label from you. It's just bottled water. Oh, sorry. There we go. Now it's in focus. So you can see there's a symbol for water right there, Mizu. So up top says Oishi, or Oishi, tasty. Tasty water. There you go. See, I can read Japanese, guys. I passed my N6 exam, I'll have you know. I'm lying, I didn't take the N6 exam. Oh, goodness. I wonder, because with the JLPT, like, the only ones people really give a shit about are the N2. N3 maybe, but that's more of just kind of like a participation trophy. It's like, congratulations, you're getting just a little more Jozu. We're not going to hire you, though. You got to get that N2. You know. That's like, I see it on the job boards all the time. If you want to get out of English teaching, you know. If you want to do like literally anything else. That's why it's important to raise your Jozu-ness, children. Or just have a good network of contacts, you know. Like a certain someone I know. Yeah, it is pretty crazy to think, like, you know, how different my life is compared to all the other foreigners out here, you know. And it's kind of like, I want to talk about it, but like, I don't know where to start with it, really. You know, it's like, what do I say? Oh, I got a whole bunch of jobs just thanks to my friends, and I don't know, like, how do I do what I do? Get friends? I guess. You know, I preach all the time, you know, your network is your net worth. So, the better your network is, the better, not just financial, but also personal life, too. You know? But virtually all of my editing gigs that I've gotten have come through who's in my network, friend circle, whatever you want to call it. And it's usually through like referrals. So, you know, somebody knows, and I do a good job for them, and they refer me to someone else, and you know, they like what I do, and they refer me to someone else, or someone's like, hey, I know somebody who's looking to make a video for their business or whatever. Let's come down and shoot it. Like, all right, cool. You know, in fact, I'm going to be shooting a video this weekend for a business out in Tokyo. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm planning on making that like the best edited video of its genre. I don't want to get too into the weeds with it just yet, just because, well, A, it hasn't happened, and B, I don't want to like give it away just yet. So once it's out, then I'll talk your heads off about it. But for now, mum's the word. But yeah. So lots of really good opportunities with video. And like I was saying on the last live stream, you know, it's just really crazy to see just how far video has come in just a few years. You know, like it'd be inconceivable for me to think about actually applying for a job as a videographer or like an in-house marketing guy. You know, because most of them are, well, for one, most of them require degrees and like years and years and years of experience. at like a senior director level. And even then, they'll just give your resume a look over at best. You know, it's like that millennial meme of like, you have to have 10 years of experience with this program, and then the program's only been out for like 5 years or something like that. It's kind of like that. But things are definitely getting a lot better. Plus, people are realizing the worth of college degrees in this day and age. You know, like, truthfully, if it wasn't for wanting a work visa out here in Japan, like, I wouldn't even bother trying to get my college degree. That's literally the only reason I'm going after college at all at this point. You know, if I didn't want to stay here in Japan or whatever, like, I'd probably just work my ass off as a freelancer. You know, picking up gigs and just, you know, moving on up as quickly as I could. So, and that is one of the fun things about doing what I do, is that I can move very quickly from position to position. And you feel a little more in control of what work you do. Whereas with a job, you know, you have no control over it. You know, you pretty much just do whatever. Now, of course, you could say, well, the client has ultimate control over creative for the projects, and yeah, it's true to an extent. But at least with a client, you do have negotiating power. With bosses, you know, you kind of do too, but it's, you know, with them, it's more of like, if you try to present different ideas, they kind of look at you like either as a threat, because, oh, if this guy's, you know, taking the initiative and being assertive, you know, he's going to be a threat to my position, and we can't have that. So they're just going to want to oppose you even more, or they're just going to see you as, you know, a rabble rouser, you know, someone who's difficult to work with, and they don't want to work with you at all. So it's kind of different power dynamics. And this is something I've learned, you know, working with people in positions of power, is that actual leaders don't, and I know this sounds like super cliche and like every TED Talk ever, right? But like, actual leaders and people in power don't really give a shit about little petty issues. That's shit for managers, you know. They only really care about results. And if there's an issue, then their goal is to resolve it as quickly and efficiently as possible. So I've had to kind of tailor the way that I approach issues and approach problems with those types of people. And it's really changed the way that I approach problems in life as well. You know, I don't look at it from like a personal perspective, or, you know, try to make a plea or whatever. It's more like, okay, here's the problem, here's a solution, let's solve it. You know? So, 2 simple words. What if? Makes a big difference. But, yeah. My feet are getting really nice and warm. That sunlight coming in. That's the thing about this building. Like, sunlight only comes in, like, for the first couple hours in the morning. Then afterwards it just, you know, goes away. So, I gotta get it while I can, you know. But I just can't wait to kind of slow down on the working. You know, like, I've just been working like way too damn much during these past couple months. Just because I know without the GI Bill, you know, the only way I can survive is to keep working, you know. And that's kind of that's one of the bad things about freelancing, is this feast or famine mentality. And it's basically like when the work is good, it's really good, and you make like obnoxious amounts of money, you know, relatively. But when it's bad, like you can't get hired for anything, or if you do, it's like maybe a couple of gigs here and there, nothing too serious. So that's why with freelancing or anything in particular, it's always good to have savings, you know. So during those lean months, you can kind of lean on that savings a little bit, so you can still keep keep a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and your fat self fed, you know. So yeah, thanks to all that, I have a really good amount in savings now. So unfortunately, most of that's going to be going to moving, so might be back to square one again. But again, that all depends on when I hear back from the realtors, and it's kind of hard, you know, because like before I was kind of, I'll have to talk with the school just to see if I'm back on the GI Bill, because with this new bachelor's program, because it's new, I don't know if it's officially registered yet. But I think it'll be fine. You know, it's just, I know it makes it sound bad, but it's really not. It's just me being a little paranoid, you know, and especially with using the GI Bill where they pay for like everything. You know, you want to make sure all your eggs are in a row, or however the phrase goes. You know, you just want to make sure everything is where it should be. You know, but I do gotta say, of all the schools I've been to, and I've been to a lot, Lakeland's the school that's taken care of me the best. You know, like I've never had any issues with pay, or them, or being like charged with anything at the school. Because I had that with a lot of mine calling them out, fucking Fayetteville Tech. I had that problem in a big way when I went to Fayetteville Tech, because they didn't recognize at the time, and this is, thankfully has been abolished now, but at the time there was something called the Yellow Ribbon Program, which has now been incorporated into all American schools. So, but at the time it was only accepted in certain states, and some states had certain regulations about it. Like in Michigan, it's fine. Ohio would have been fine, but in North Carolina, you could only be, at the time, you could only be accepted into the Yellow Ribbon Program for the first 3 years after you got out of service, even if you still have plenty of GI Bill left. So they charged me for out-of-state tuition, but the GI Bill only paid in-state tuition. So there was like a huge disparity in how much I owed. So it was like several $1,000s. And I'm like, I don't know that. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. And, you know, they corrected their mistake because of that. And even still, like, I had to go back to dispersing like several times to get it fixed. Because, like, they unregistered me in order to re-register me under the Yellow Ribbon Program. And when they unregistered me, that sent a flag to the VA saying, oh, this kid dropped out of all his classes. Now he owes us a bunch of money. And I'm like, getting like double whammied because of all this. I'm like, no. What the hell are you guys doing? So I went to go talk to them about it. And then I'd be like, okay, I'll talk to the VA about it. And the VA's like, no, you got to talk to them about it. And it's literally a case of, you know, the right hand or the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. I know the camera's flipped, but you guys get the idea. But eventually, thankfully, I found someone with a good head on their shoulders in dispersing, or whatever that section was in admin, and they got it all straightened out. So I only had to pay like $92, because I guess there was like some miscellaneous fee or some bullshit that I had to pay. So yeah, I'd rather pay $92 than like $9,200 or however it would have came out to. You know, both owing the VA and that school at the same time for the same classes, which is fucking bullshit. But yeah, so I almost didn't make it out to Lakeland because of that dumb shit. I'm like, really? Ugh. But you know, moral of the story is you just gotta, you know, be willing to fight what you believe in and communicate with the office and anybody who you think can help you. Because chances are it's just some dumb mistake that got routed up the chain, and you know, you just gotta go in and correct it. And it just is what it is, man. But since coming to Lakeland, like, they've handled everything. You know, I just send in my paperwork, do my thing, and they take care of it all, man. Although I have heard recently there's some kind of change. Like, I guess you have to, like, check in with the VA website or something like that, like e-benefits or something, saying that you're enrolled in a semester. So I'll have to talk with Lakeland about that. See how I do that, because that's just something I heard in like the VA newsletters that they send me every once in a while. There's going to be some kind of new system. I guess it's to like prevent people from, you know, just collecting benefits without really going to class or doing anything. It's just like an extra check or whatever. I don't know. But yeah. So that's just something else I gotta deal with, you know. And then so I was calculating everything, and I guess it would take me about 3 or 4, depending on availability of classes, take me between 3 to 4 semesters to graduate. So we're looking at, and I will take summer courses, so it's not like it's going to be just fall and spring, but we're looking at, so I already got summer, fall, then spring, and then summer again, right? Yeah, summer, well, yeah, so basically at the end of summer semester next year, I should be all graduated. If everything goes according to plan. Which, as you guys know, plans like to change. So we'll see how that goes. And who knows, I might be able to graduate early. It just depends. I don't know. Because the bachelor's course is so new, they may not have availability for certain classes that I need at that campus. So that was something else I was thinking about the other day. It's like, hopefully they can get some teachers in and, you know, boost up the curriculum and stuff. But it's going to be a rocky first couple semesters, and especially with what's going on in the world. Like, I'm, you know, not gonna lie, I'm a little worried if I'll be able to stay here because of it. But, you know, probably just my own paranoia. You know, I'm thinking, it's just me overthinking things, like I always do. But even if it does happen, and I do have to move back to America, at least I don't have to worry about visa situations anymore. That's nice. But that aside, like I was talking about with the whole video situation, like there's so many opportunities to do video, and even in America, like I was looking at some job postings because my family would send me some on Messenger being like, hey, there's a video position open up at a factory for like their marketing department, just showing off like new products and whatever else they got going on. And I was just like, damn. It's funny how the world changes, you know. And that's one of the bad things about being an early adopter like I was, where everybody just thinks you're crazy for wanting to get into this. But then once it gets going and you're still in the industry doing your thing, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, yeah, congratulations. I knew you could do it all along, kid. Yeah. And it's like, uh-huh. But it's whatever. All's well that ends well, I guess. Man, you guys are awfully quiet today. I know I've been going off on like a billion tangents. I'm sorry for that. I'm just trying to think of something. Start up a conversation or something. Like, dang, y'all are quiet today. I haven't heard a single peep. It's just like I'm back in college, you know, with the Zoom classes where all the Japanese kids are the whole time just silent, just staring at you unblinkedly. Yes, the whole time. I gotta get used to that again, huh? Yeah, that's and I think I said this in a video or something, but you know, for the small amount of people out there who might be taking classes studying abroad in Japan, whether it's Zoom or in person, the same rule generally applies. But with Japanese classes or classes with a lot of Japanese folks, they tend to not like to answer in class. You know, they're very nervous about that sort of thing. They don't like to participate with talking. That's not how they were taught as kids. So like if the teacher would ask like a hypothetical question or whatever to the class, allow anyone to answer it. For Americans, that's how we were taught. With Japanese, not so much. So if they would ask like a hypothetical, it would just be met with silence and just the whole time, you know, or maybe just feverishly taking notes. And they wouldn't really know how to respond to something like that. So they came up with participation grades, which usually in most college classes are just kind of like a gimme 5%, right? But for some classes they're like 10 or 15%. You know, it's a pretty substantial part of the grade, depending on the class. So what the teachers are usually more understanding for the international students, because they realize that, you know, they're kind of used to it, and then the Japanese students aren't really used to the whole conversation thing. And plus, you know, they're kind of, you know, insecure about their English level, even though it's usually like really good. So like I never had any real communication problems with any of the students in class, you know. Maybe if I use like idioms or certain slang, it would kind of give me the nani sore, wakaranai yo, you know, something like that. But not too serious. So anyway, oh shit, the point. God, I'm so ADD today. Jesus, I should name this the ADD stream. Goodness. But anyway, the point is, if you are an international student at a Japanese school, college, university, whatever, if they do have a participation section, grade, whatever, just answer the first 2 questions and then just shut up. Just sit back. Don't answer anything else unless you're specifically called upon. Because if you... And this is a mistake that I made when I was first taking classes over at Lakeland, would be because, you know, the teacher would ask a question and just be met with deafening silence. I would always be the one to kind of sheepishly answer my hand just to kind of break this awkward silence and be like, it's whatever, A, B, whatever. Or, oh, it's this thing, or whatever. And it eventually got to a point where I felt like a lot of the students kind of relied on me to answer the questions. Like, I would just leave it to the big, loud American to answer all the questions, right? And, you know, it got to a point where I was just like, I don't want to be like the class representative. You know, I don't want to be fucking Incho-sama over here. So I would just kind of, and I think one of the teachers actually kind of told me about this, you know, or at least gave me the sort of, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge of, you know, just answer a couple questions and then let some of the other students answer. And I felt like, you know, was I talking too much? Because it's like nobody wanted to answer anything. Nobody wanted to say anything. And I'm just like, I'm just trying to make things less awkward for everybody. Like, I don't want to be answering the questions either, but nobody's saying anything. And I'm like, this is just, it's too much. Gotta do something. And I was talking with one of the teachers about that at the midterm meeting, back when we had those, all one of them, during my my time at Lakeland, because of, you know, old Colony Macaroni. But yeah, I asked him, you know, is it always like this in classes? Because I'd never been through something like that before. Because usually, even in the classes with like the least amount of participation, you know, nobody really gave a shit in that class. Like, there's always at least one or two kids who would like raise their hand and like answer the question. You know, with this class there was like nobody, because nobody wanted to be wrong or feel embarrassed. You know, what's got she? You know, so yeah. But anyway, that's my tip. So, if you ever do any studying abroad in Japan, and the teachers have like a participation grade, just for every class, just answer like the first one or two questions, and then just shut up the rest of the time. I don't care how awkward it gets. I don't care how silent it gets. I don't care how mad the teacher gets that nobody is saying anything. Unless you're explicitly called upon, do not answer anything. Because you already got your participation points. They ain't getting shit. So, it's on them. You know. It may feel really, really awkward, but trust me. Trust me on this one. It's real big, you know. And there was even like some classes where there would be a couple Western or you know, international students, I guess, and we would be put into separate groups. So rather than have us all in like one group, or like two or three of us in a group, you know, the teacher, whoever it was, would divide us into groups where it's like one international student per group. And that was by design, so that way we wouldn't dominate the conversation. Because, you know, we talk too much. We never shut up. I say we talk too much. Oh my, you never shut up. Sorry, too much botchamania. And I'm probably going to get flagged for that, so whatever. Oh well. Shogunai and such. Probably only gonna be on for a couple more minutes. Gotta get ready for work here soon. So, yeah. That's one of the fun things about working online, is that I can literally just go from this to my job, all without moving from here. Like, I could literally do the whole damn thing just sitting here. Like, I have my keyboard. I got my mints right here. My secret editing weapon. Yeah, I got my keyboard with my little Lakeland pen in there too. Got my trackball, mouse. This is my true editing secret weapon right here. For real. For real, for real. Headphones off to the side. You don't know how it is. These bad... Oops, shit. You might get the echo, but these bad boys right there. Good old Audio Technicas. Those are really good headphones, by the way. You know, you do have to adjust the EQ because it is a little tinny. There's not a whole lot of bass to them, but you have to like really pump the bass in order to get the sound a little more balanced. But with a quick EQ tweak, it's totally fine, you know. But these are the cheaper ones. I think they were like $50 normally. But I got an Amazon gift card as part of the graduation raffle for Lakeland, and I basically just got those for free. All I had to pay was expedited shipping, so I basically paid like $5 for those things. Pretty nice, huh? Good stuff. Good stuff. And I've been meaning, at the time, I've been meaning to get wireless headphones, because like I had the little earphones plug into your ears, but the battery just wouldn't last that long, and I didn't really like the audio quality for some of them. Like the Audio Technica one had the best audio quality, but it had like the fucking big ass dongle on the one side, so it always felt unbalanced, and the battery wouldn't last all that long, maybe like a couple hours. I'm just like, man, I want something that can last, especially if I'm sitting down doing editing work, because you know I love the quality of my my Corsair headset, which that really surprised me. Like I just got it, you know, when I was doing the work from home stuff, back when I was working for doing customer service for TurboTax. I just got it as like a headset thing. Probably could have just got away with just using my mic, but they required a headset, so fuck it. So I got those, and like the audio quality was really damn good. But they were wired headphones, and you know, I like to move around a lot. So, you know, if I'm at my chair too long, sometimes I like to come to the bed, or if I want to lay down and, you know, watch movies or anime or something like that, you know, I'm limited by the wire because I have to like adjust where the laptop is, and if I have to go to the bathroom or something, I take the headphones off and go to the bathroom or whatever. But with these, I can literally go like anywhere within this, you know, this apartment guest house, and still be listening to my shit. Like, there's times where, you know, I'd be working on something, and I just have a podcast on or whatever. I had to go run, take a shit or something, and I just go. I just walk out the door, go to the bathroom, do my thing, and I haven't had any connection loss or anything like that. And those batteries are brick shit houses, man. Like, as much as I use those things, like they're pretty much on like all day. Like, no joke, they're on like the whole time I'm awake, basically. And they only get down to like 10% power. Or I mean, like, they only use 10% of their power, so it's like 90% at the end of the day. And that's like full day usage. You know, and I have the volume cranked pretty high most of the time. So, yeah. I feel super duper confident in those. And even on days where I'm pretty far away from the charger, like, I haven't really pushed to see just how long I could make them last without a charge, but I'm pretty confident that I can make it like maybe 5 days or a week without a charge if I really wanted to push it. And yeah, good stuff, you know. But whew, I think the next big purchase, most definitely, and this will be the thing we wrap up on here, because I gotta get going to work and take the Browns to the Super Bowl, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, then I think the next big purchase is going to be a new camera, because I'm running across a lot of limitations with the G85. Like, I still maintain that it's a that's really kicking in, that morning coffee, man. But I'll try to hang in there for another couple minutes. But anyway, I'm really running across the limitations of the G85, and as awesome as it is, especially for as cheap as it is. Like, I got the camera and kit lens for like 500 bucks used off of B&H Photo, and I'm pretty sure you could probably get it cheaper now, or you could just get the body for pretty cheap. Because the cool thing about Micro Four Thirds is that the lenses are extremely cheap. You know, there are more expensive ones out there that are higher quality, of course, but if you're looking to get into videography, you know, Panasonic's a really good company to get started with. You know, like if you don't have the money for the GH5, you know, you can get the G85. They also have a G95 too, which has a lot of improvements. You know, a higher resolution sensor, some color profiles and stuff like that, which is nice. But it's roughly the same price as the GH5, even new. So I figure, you know, unless they have like a really good deal for it used, you might as well just get a GH5 at that rate. But the Achilles heel for all Panasonic cameras is the autofocus, and they've done a lot to help with it. You know, they have like their algorithm based depth from the DFD, like depth from defocus or whatever, but it's algorithm based, so it's a little finicky. It's definitely better, but it's not where a lot of these newer technologies like the dual pixel autofocus from Canon or Sony's just tack sharp autofocus is. Like that's the camera I'm going to be going to next is Sony. Yo, Brooke, what's up? Blackmagic Pocket Cinema. Oh, hey, that's a good question. My stepdad's actually looking to getting the 6K Blackmagic Pocket Cinema. I think it's a really good camera, but you know, for me, I definitely need that articulating screen. I've had it. I've had an articulating screen from all my cameras since literally the beginning, with the Sanyo Zacti CG6, little pistol grip camera with the little flippy screen. I've had it even as far back as that, and I don't think I can get rid of it anytime soon. And plus, even if I'm on the other side of the camera shooting other people, you know, it's, I don't know. And aside from the screen, you know, I just need something with a full frame sensor. You know, I've been putting it off for a while with the crop sensors. You know, when I had the older Sonys, I had the APS-C, which is a fabulous sensor. But with what I do, I would definitely benefit from going full frame. You know, there's a lot of benefits to the smaller crop sensors like APS-C and Micro Four Thirds, namely price, because lenses are hella expensive, and even with the crop sensors they can get hella expensive. But if you want to get into the game, you can easily afford pretty darn good Micro Four Thirds lenses versus like a starter full frame lens, you know. Yo, Zahir, I think is her name. Andy, just a suggestion, put links to your Andy Japani channel in the description of your videos, as it is not obviously you have another channel. Oh, shit, you're right, yeah. See, I thought about, I probably should do that, to be honest. I have it as like playlists on my channel splash page. YouTube did a weird update a while ago. Oh, Zach, okay, cool, sorry, dude. It's not crop sensor, Super 35. Yeah, it's cinematic, man. Whatever. But yeah, what is the difference between Super 35 and full frame? Because to me it just sounds like okay. Oh, I see. So okay, I'm just looking at it now. Photo term versus cinema term, same thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm just kind of looking through, because I never really thought about it, but oh damn. Yeah, I'm looking at sensor sizes, because usually I've never really dealt with the Super 35 But I guess just eyeballing it here, the Super 35 is kind of, it's like a sensor that's like formatted for 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 video. So it's not that it's bigger or anything. It's about the size of an APS-C sensor, actually, from the looks of it. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind trying it out. But if you get into like cinematic cameras, well, I mean, for one, cinematic cameras are hella expensive. Size of 35. Really? Okay, I guess that's hence the name Super 35. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right. Yeah, I mean, my stepdad's looking into getting one, and the reviews for the Blackmagic Pocket 6K are just coming out. So I'll have to kind of look into them a bit more. But the camera I'm looking into getting into, especially considering my budget or lack thereof, is the Sony A7C. Originally, I was going to go for the A7 III, but oh shit, accidentally hit it. But because of the recording limit of the A7 III, because I do a lot of really long shoots, it doesn't really, lend to something like that. If I was kind of shooting like the kind of shit that I do for my channels or whatever, like, yeah. If I was doing, shit for my own channel, ideally, I would love to get an A7S III, but that's a lot of money just for the body, And then you gotta talk again, glass being almost as expensive as the body itself, so you're basically paying double, So at least for the A7C, they got a really cheap kit lens with it. So for the whole kit and caboodle, it's about $2,100, which is still really damn expensive. But as far as full frames go, unless you're getting like an older or used model, that's pretty reasonable, I'd say. I think like the cheapest new full frame that you could get would be the Canon RP, but there's a lot of issues with that because it's, even though it's full frame, it's still cropped video, and there's no in-body stabilization, and there's a host of other issues with it. But if I was doing photography, see, that's the thing. That's where Canon shines. If you're doing photography, like, Canon's fucking it, man. Like, the color science, dual pixel autofocus, fucking mint. But for vlogging, if you're doing locked off shots, like if I just had it on a tripod in a studio or something, yeah, fucking awesome. But if you're out and about vlogging, even though Casey Neistat used an 80D for his vlogs, there's still that shake. And you can go back and look at some of those old vlogs and see the shake, and it's just like, it hurts my soul, hurts my cocoros. But yeah, the A7C is looking to be the camera that I get next. Obviously due to the size, the grip is a lot more shallow than what I'm used to, but it's something I can manage. It's not a deal breaker. Worst case scenario, I'm sure they'll come out with an accessory that'll extend the grip. They did that with some of the older Alpha cameras. I remember they came up with kind of like a bottom leather cover thing, which extended the grip a little bit. So I'm assuming they're going to do that with A7C, but since it's such a new camera, I don't think they've come out with it yet. But the A7C has the newer Sony autofocus as well, because I thought, well, Sony's autofocus is always like tack sharp, like I've never had problems with it, even in the past. Ergonomics, I think, are the only con for me. It's a very small body. Yeah, which, I mean, the small body is both a pro and a con. If you're using it for like a light setup, like, it's definitely a pro. But if you're lugging it around for like a big shoot, or if you have a client that kind of looks at the little tiny ass camera and like, is this guy serious? Then they won't really take you all that seriously if you approach it with a little dinky ass camera. Which was one of the reasons why I wanted to get the A7 III. But I was looking at comparison videos of the A7C and the A7 III, And the autofocus for the A7C, as good as the A7 III was, the A7C was like 10 times better. Like, it would just lock on like that. And the thing is, once it locked on, it didn't let go. It wasn't like, okay, it achieved focus like really quickly, but then with autofocus, you get that kind of like background, they call like pulsing or pumping or whatever. With the A7C, I mean, if you look really closely, you can see it, but it wasn't as noticeable as the A7C, or the A7 III, rather. So, like, because it would do the real-time eye auto track, which would make it much more accurate and faster too. So that's really cool. And plus, you know, with the newer color science, and then I think they still use the old menu setup with the A7C, which is what pissed some people off. But I didn't mind the Sony menu system. You know, like, I dealt with the old Sony menu system, and I was okay with that. The lack of custom buttons was also a major con, so I could see that. But most of the negatives were brought on by photographers, and I'm like, I wouldn't use it as a photography camera per se. Like, if I really wanted to get serious in photography, I would use something else, probably like an A7R or something like that, which is what it's made for. But for me, I'm using it primarily for video. Wouldn't mind shooting some pictures with it. Like, hell, my old Sony A5000 and 5100 pulled off some amazing pictures. And those cameras are old as shit. So, anyway, can't wait to be back in the Sony fam. And I'm going to be late for work soon, so I got to edit things here. So, with that said, guys, where are my hands? This is the Andy-san. Signing for now. As always, forever. We'll see you next time. Catch you later, guys. Bye.